Hello class, I want to review a few things before we take today's test. The first thing I want to remind you of is that you can use your notes. They're available on Schoology still. You may also review any videos before getting into the Schoology assessment. And lastly, we expect that you will use your calculator and either a notebook piece of paper or your marker board to work out the problems, as Ms. Hoffman and I do all the time that we do these problems. Yes, even your math teachers use paper or a marker board to work out the problems. Now remember, this unit is about combining like terms. I'm going to put a video in here to remind you of that. That's our basketball video. So we can think of like terms like a basketball team. Which players out here are on the same team? That's right, one of the teams is made up of the players in the white jerseys. It happens when we're combining like terms through addition and subtraction. We have this team with the red jerseys, their X's, and this team with the green jerseys, their Y's. I can't put the red jerseys with green jerseys. They're not on the same team. An 8X here. And then I'm going to add the -6 with the 9, so that's a minus sign, but it travels with the 6, so that's -6 added to 9 gives me a positive 3, and since the 3 is positive, a plus goes there. So we're no longer just bringing that down, but whatever the calculation is, we bring that sign with it. And that's it. We cannot put the red X team with the green Y team. They can be on the court together, but they're not on the same team. Remember, our goal, like the video said, is to put things that are on the same team or wearing the same uniforms alike. So the first thing we're going to look at is this equation. Notice that I have b's and b squareds. B squareds have this special exponent like a superpower, and they cannot go with b's. So I've bubbled the b squareds differently than I've boxed the b's. Next, I put the b's together, and I put the b squareds together. When I add them up, 8 and 3 make 11b, and 4 and 11 make a positive 15. Now since that's positive, a plus sign goes there. Moving down, this third one, we have d's, which I made purple, including the symbol, and I have a -8 or a -8. But that negative belongs to the 8 and needs to move with it. So when I regroup it, I get 3d plus 7d, and I get a -8. When I put those together, the 8 does not have a d and so cannot go with them. So I have 10d. Since the 8's a -8, I'm going to write it as -8. Now we're going to move to the back side to look a little bit at some harder ones. And you can use your notes, and we expect that you would also use a calculator and a marker board or scratch paper to work out problems. A couple things I want to remind you of when it comes to multiply. The word multiply or times on your calculator we used to write with an X. Now we write it with a dot, an asterisk, or when a number is written next to a letter, like here, means 2 times d, or when a number is written next to a parenthesis, this means 3 times x. When we do our distribution then, when the 5 is written next to the parenthesis, it needs to be multiplied both times. Now listen carefully. When I multiply the 5 by the 8, I just multiply 5 and 8. And then the x comes along for the ride. That does not need to be typed into your calculator. Then I need to multiply 5 by a positive 2. But what I type into the calculator is just 5 times 2. Do not hit the positive sign. The calculator already knows it's positive. We only need to do that when there's negative. So I have 5 times 2. When I put the 5 and 8 together by multiplication, because that's what that dot means, I get 40. X comes along for the ride. Then I multiply 5 and 2 together. I get 10, and since 10 is positive, that's where the plus comes in. Here's another example. I'm going to move down here to this one. I have a -4, or it could be a -4. When I type it into my calculator, I need to type it with the negative sign. That's the little negative sign, not the minus sign. The order matters. I've got -4 times 3, and then -4 times 10. Now, when I multiply those out, I end up with a -12 and a -38. But when I write it, it looks like this. This back negative symbol is written as a minus symbol. We're going to do a couple more from the review. The passcode was on yesterday's video. It has to do with something you do in a boat or on land. I'm going to highlight that in blue. And we're going to do our first Hail Mary pass to the 3. So it's -4 times 3. Show my work over here. You're going to show it on your marker board. Miss Hoffman and I need to show our work all the time, so we'd expect that you would as well, just to make sure that you get it correct. Then we're going to take the -4, and we're going to share it this time with this group of numbers. But since there's a symbol out in front of the 5, I'm going to circle that, so it's -4 this time, times a -5. Z comes along with the 5 for a ride. Order operations say do my multiplication first before I do anything with the 7. So I'm going to start back over here at the -4 times 3. And I'm going to get -12. And then I'm going to move her over here to -4 times 5 using my calculator, making sure that I hit the negative symbol and not the minus symbol when I'm doing these. So again, -4 with that symbol, and -5 gives me a +20 this time. So when I put those together, Z, when I put those together, it's -12. Positive means a +20. I cannot put Z's with no Z's, but I could take this 7, and that could go with the 12, so I'm going to move it over here. It's positive, so I type it in 7 minus 12, or you could type in -12 plus 7. As long as the minus sign goes with the 12, you're good. That gives us an answer of what? -5. And then how many Z's? 20 Z's. They're on different teams, so they can't go together. Let's look down towards the bottom.